Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to the Church of Doom. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. G. Joel Morris, saw you already in chat. Another live with the Father Doom. Bow, wretched masses. Exactly, dude. I saw you drop a little flaming stronghold. Yeah, hopefully, let's see. Can you see? Wait, I'm in the wrong view. How do we? Yep. Huge. We are getting there, G. Joel Moore. We are getting there on the Doom Stronghold zines. That's a big old stack of the martyred zines, which here, I think I've already shown this off a little bit, but the martyred ones are cool. Since I'm making these all by hand because I didn't want to, I just wanted to make them by hand. I felt like that was cooler than just ordering some pre-made zines. But the martyred ones get two of these stapled in ribbon spine bookmarks, which I think is pretty sick. And then you can't really see it, but just out of view, there's another huge big stack of just the normal ones. They have like a pink cover and just one little ribbon spine bookmark, but making good progress on all of that. Anyways, good morning. Welcome, everybody. What are we doing today? Well, like I said in our pinned chat, we are continuing our brainstorming and prepping of the Retched Tropics, a region of my homebrew setting, the old world, this post-apocalyptic high fantasy, sort of secretly science fantasy setting that the gods have abandoned. And the Retched Tropics is the super remote, jungly area that is full of noxious sulfuric gases that spill out of volcanoes and, I guess, sulfuric vents, volcanic vents all along the jungle floor. And it's just a very bad place to be. This is, what was it, episode 4 of our prepping of this region? Here, I wanted to show off a little bit. Let's look at what we've already done. So we had prepped, so far we've done 2 of the volcanoes and the 2 major settlements. Today, we're going to be just exploring some of the just like truly jungly areas that we haven't really looked at much yet. But I wanted to quickly show off 2 of the pages that I have finished. So this is the Ruptured Hive. The first thing you'll note, if you've been tuning into these streams, is I dropped the multiple D4, D6 lists and just went in preference of just one D8 list. I did that for kind of 2 reasons, really. One is it fits better on the page. Like, the text doesn't have to be so tiny. The D4 list that we were working on, like these are down to 0.8 font, which is still sort of legible. Oh, why am I hearing myself? Oh, because I have my other YouTube page open. You probably didn't hear that, but I did. What's up, Kenneth? I saw you in the chat there. Good to see you. And Doman, good to see you this morning. Good to have you back. But anyways, yeah, 0.8 font, legible, but it's very, very small. So I wanted to be able to up the font point, or the font size. The other reason was, on every stream previously, we'd been brainstorming a list of, here's general information about this area, and here's some hazards for the area, and here's some random encounters for the area. And multiple times I'd be like, man, this random encounter feels like it also could be a hazard, but it also sort of feels like an important thing to know about the region. And I was having a hard time deciding how do we like make each of these lists feel really unique and special and different. And ultimately what I decided is like my writing style and the way that I just think about things like doesn't need multiple lists. It just needs one cool list that kind of captures all of the ideas in one, and you're kind of meant to read it, in point order. You read, like, for example, the Ruptured Hive. This magma beetle-infested volcano is home to a primordial fire beetle queen who devoured a mortal god of the forge and has been laying eggs ever since. And I'm calling her the Mantle Empress, because the mantle of the earth is like I don't know if it's the uppermost, that's the crust. I think the mantle is right beneath, and it's really magma-y and stuff. So then you go to the next one. This magma beetle-infested volcano is a lava hive. It is riddled with beetle-burrowed tunnels across all of its facings, which lava runs out of like hot honey spilling from a hive, and you just can kind of read down the point. And the idea here is, once you read that D8 list, you basically kind of have all the inspiration you need to build random encounters, to think up a cool location, to think up a hazard for the area. A lot of that is sort of implied in this narratively read list that you can go back to and quickly skim. And here's the art I did for it. Just a big beehive, that I cropped into a little PNG and layered behind some mountains with some mist and fog kind of spilling into the area. I went full black and white. Well, almost full black and white. You can see, obviously, I've still got, the border is all the way on the back layer. There we go. the sky is still that apocalyptic pink and yellow that I think really fits the Church of Doom, just kind of an iconic background for a lot of things. But then in some of my previous scenes, I've been doing like a really multicolored kind of vibe, like pinks and greens and yellows, which I guess I can. I'm kind of curious what your guys' thoughts are on this, but let's just go to like one of the strongholds. So like that is some of the art I've done in the past for some of the strongholds with really bright greens and pinks and stuff, which I think is cool. I do think it is cool, but I have been wondering for a little while if it's like, is it a little too much? Is it a little too like just in your face colorful? Does it sort of turn some people off and turn them away from the style? Is it a little too, what's the word for it? Not like juvenile, but it kind of felt a little like, ugh, even for me, it was a bit much to look at. This feels a little more, I don't want to use the word mature, like, oh, well, this is a much more grown-up style, because, like, we're playing D&D. Clearly it's not, but I don't know. It's just a little easier to look at on the eyes, I think. And then, so that was the Ruptured Hive, though. Let me know what you think of the black and white. Then I also published and finished the art for Area 12, the Citadel of Ivory, our bone-hunting village of knights turned to more of a tribal sort of people. This one, this one took a long time. This one was tough, but it came out really, really cool. So I had to find a cool jungle peninsula that I had to crop out some of the vegetation in the sky and things and get the sea all layered correctly. Then I found just a image of a big limestone rock, threw that on there, and then I built up this sort of like almost King Kong feeling. In fact, that was even an inspiration for, I think, our wall of ivory, right? But this little village of tents and huts and big bone scaffolded towers and things kind of running up the rock face to the Citadel of Ivory itself, which this is actually an image, that big round part, that's an image pulled from, I think, the Paris catacombs that I layered a couple horns and bones and stuff on. You can see a cool Triceratops skull. And then down here, just this layered kind of look of the bone wall that keeps everything out. So I was really, really happy with how it came out, even though it took forever. And then we got that finished D8 list sort of describing it down there. But what do we think? Kenneth, or kind of a random question off the side here, but I'm fine to do that while we're hanging out here in the beginning, said, I'm booking a session right now. How many hours should I put in? Ooh. Are you, so you're booking a session, not to, you know, oh, maybe I'll pat or get my hopes up here, but by booking, do you mean, are you like signing up for a session with, on like start playing with me? Because I've got my, I've got a couple campaigns open, or are you like, maybe you're meaning like booking a session with your players and you're wondering how many hours you should prep it for? I mean, I usually play 3 hours. It used to be 4. I used to be able to put in like a good 4 hours or more. Now I'm almost 30. I turned 30 this year in October. By 4 hours, I'm exhausted. Like that last hour is kind of a slog. And so I've cut it down to 3 hours for my sessions with like a quick 10-minute break sort of in the midpoint. And so you've got 2 hour-and-a-half chunks to get as much cool stuff happening as you can, which not only am I able to keep my energy up a little better throughout those 3 hours, I also find that constraining yourself on the time a little bit means you kind of push yourself to do the cooler things, or you have to cut out a lot of filler stuff. When you have 4+ hours, you're like, we'll just do whatever, right? Like, just let this thing drag on. But when you got 3 hours, like, let's not, it's fine to have some things kind of going off on little random fun tangents or whatever, side quests, but ultimately you're always thinking like, well, we've only got an hour left, so let's bring it back, let's get our attention back on the thing at hand, and keep going forward. So, yeah, I usually play for about 3. Oh, sweet, Kenneth, you're booking with me? Oh, cool. Are you, oh, sweet, man. So booking, cool. So, just to make sure it's kind of, in case you don't know, because Start Playing is, a service maybe not a lot of people know. If you're booking a session, then that kind of means you're like booking like a time for a group, which if that's what you're doing, that'd be sweet. If you're looking to just jump into a game with me, you don't need to book that time. You can just jump into one of my existing groups. So just so that's clear, and for anybody who might be listening and interested, you can submit on Start Playing. Like, I'd love to have a group run by you, and we can work that out. But Kenneth, that's awesome. I really appreciate that. Thanks. I'm excited to play with you. Doman said, Oh, this is going back to the color and the art and stuff. So it fits well. I guess the contrast is cool. Big fan of both, but the black and white looks better in my opinion. Yeah, I was all weekend I was going back and forth, and sometimes I have images that like, oh, actually, let's go into the traveling NPC. That's a good example. I was kind of just messing around with some of the black and white, going back to some old artwork because I've already published this and finished it. I'm like, let's see what black and white looks like. This one I think looks really cool with the green and the pink and the yellow. I don't think it's too, sometimes it can just be too saturated. This one has like a good, I think it's a good middle ground. But then I was changing like this one. I think in the previous version I had the bridge pink, but I just took the bridge to black and white and I was like, oh, I like it a lot more. It's a lot easier to look at. This one looks really dark and brooding and cool. This one with the Revenant walking down the path. It used to be like green trees. It was just this really bright green scene with the black and white Revenant in the middle. And I think by putting it all black and white, it's a lot creepier. It feels a lot more grim darky. And then that pop of yellow and pink in the eyes like really screams off the page. So, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I was trying out some cool like collage NPC character art where I would just go find like a body that I really liked, and then I would find a head that I really liked, and I'd just kind of layer them over each other to make a new looking character. And the black and white looks so good on that. It just helps everything sort of mesh together really nicely. So, yeah, I think I will keep going with the black and white look here. Kenneth definitely wants to jump into a group. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, you should jump into one of my Sunday groups. I was actually really excited this morning. I jumped on, just check start playing. I check it like every morning, like, has anybody joined? Oh god, let's see. And I did have a new player join my Tuesday campaign, which is my Martyrs of the Ark campaign. It's the super science fantasy one that is on the Ark itself, because in the old world, we've talked a little bit about the gods abandoned the world, and they took half the mortals and fled up into the heavens aboard the Ark. Well, this campaign is on the Ark, but it's in the super far future. Like, the Ark is a giant ruined dungeon basically that people are like living in. It's gone to hell, and so the martyrs are just trying to keep it safe essentially for the people still living aboard it. So I had a new player sign up for that. If you want to join a group though, Kenneth, I mean, I've got seats open in my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday groups, as well as my Sunday one-shots. And if you join the Sunday group right now, like that first session is free, but the Sunday is episodic. Every Sunday is a new mission you're serving on the old world for Vecna. So it's not like as grand of a campaign. Like, well, that's not necessarily true. Like, because every session will be a really cool adventure that over time you'll kind of get to know the other characters and tell a campaign. But it's not as like character backstory driven per se. It's more of like, bring a cool level 3 character and go serve a mission, go on a one-shot. And then next week, we're not going to necessarily worry about the in-between, what happens between these two one-shots. It's just at the start of next Sunday, boom, you're into another cool one-shot. And you've had your long rest and you're going off to do this mission. So whatever your vibe is, go check that out and enjoy it. But I'm excited. I appreciate it. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? He's one of the players in my Wednesday group. Speaking of which, why don't we, it's been about 15 minutes of me rambling and letting folks join. Why don't we jump into some brainstorming today? Let's go up to our map here and see what we want to prep first. Where's my little pointer thing? There it is. Wait, what did Doman just say? I really like the short where you had terrain on the table and didn't think of ever coloring the whole map this gray color. Your color choices really hit, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, on my, like, you're talking my physical terrain map, you can't see it, but yeah, I have this, like, green terrain board that then I just tear up yellow paper to be like the water or the path or the difficult terrain, and then I have some terrain that I made of like trees made from just branches and stuff that I laid out. It looks really cool. Yeah, I don't know, Doman. I don't know if it's gonna be permanent, but I'm enjoying it. I feel like it looks cool, so we're gonna keep working with it, and we'll see. What's up, Hayden? Good to have you here. We are just about to figure out which of our jungle regions we want to prep. So the things we've got left to do. We've got this man trap delta, or the mangrove, or whatever we're going to call it. That is the area that the druids that were sent over to build up the city in Hex 9 by their sultan, they used occult blood magics to enrich and enhance the jungle so that it would produce more seeds, more fruits, more things like that for them to sell in their city. And that sort of has gone awry in Hex 10, and now it's just a man-eating section of jungle. Hence the blood magic, right? We've got Area 11, which is, so far it's just like, all we know about it is it's got trolls living in it, and it is like a boggish, sulfuric, vent-riddled area. And, oh, I think I named this area the Troll Cauldrons, because there are so many open volcanic vents, or sulfuric vents, that the trolls dump their food in it to boil it and use them like cauldrons. So we've got that area we could prep. We've got the Tangled Ivory, which is our most dinosaur-ridden section of jungle. That's where they go to nest. They have lots of eggs there. It's also where our Alabaster Knights from Hex 7 will come down and do their hunts for the ivory and then bring it back. So we could do that area. We've got Hex 3, which is the Retched Quagmire, a true sulfuric bog. Area 11 is more like sulfuric and volcanic vents. It's really hot and the air is like poisonous, but the ground and the vegetation is still jungly. Hex 3 is like marshy, swampy, putrid water sort of vibe. And then Hex 6, we still don't exactly know what that one is. We have not come up with an idea for it yet. So let's drop a little poll and see what y'all want to brainstorm. We should brainstorm. So we have the... I'm just going to call it the man-eating mangrove, because I don't have a better name for it yet. We've got the Troll Cauldrons. We've got the Tangled Ivory, which I love that name. That one's really cool. Or we've got the Retched Quagmire. All right, we'll let that run for a minute. What are we prepping? Oh, hell yeah, Kenneth. You're going to be a level 3 monk in the Sunday adventure? Sweet. Very cool. I don't care if someone doesn't like monks or say they're bad. I'm a monk player. I think monks are sweet. Does anybody not like monks? I always thought they were really cool. Kenneth saying, ooh, maybe, yeah, I mean, trolls definitely... At least in my mind, trolls have big, huge tusks coming out of their mouths that these knights would probably go hunt them as well. The new... I need to get a physical copy of the monster manual. I can't believe I don't have it yet. But in the new art, they look a lot more like a forest troll. In fact, you know what? Why don't we, just while that poll's running, let's jump over to D&D Beyond and check out the troll. The art's cool. It's not that I don't like the new art, it's just not my vibe for a troll. See, it's like very foresty looking. In fact, like down in its, I guess if you're looking at it, the left face, the left foot is a little weird looking. It's like, is it growing out of the forest? Like, I feel like I can see roots coming down out of it into the water, or is it just like its foot is in the water? It's kind of hard to tell for me. The vibe I'm getting is like the trolls grow out of this like foresty blight or something like that. And I do like how it's got mossy, matted hair. That's cool. And you can even see it's got big tusks that would be ivory the knights would want to hunt for. But my trolls are more like gangly and not as like bulky, I guess. This guy looks like pretty big. I like my trolls to have really long, freaky limbs, and they kind of crawl or move around almost like a gorilla. Who would win, 100 commoners or a troll, right? So that's more my vibe. But the art is pretty cool. Also, I guess the main difference I would say is I don't like how green the troll is. Like the trolls have always been sort of greenish colors, but this one is like forest green. Like its skin almost looks like plant, basically, which I'm like, cool vibe, but not what I would necessarily do. So if you ever notice the screen like being all weird, it's because I have a Mac, and so I'm like swiping between tabs, and for some reason it does not like that in my live stream, and it makes it look all wonky. Okay. Skull Knight says, I like the trolls from Warhammer Fantasy Old World. Totally. That's a similar vibe. Here, I'll pull those up too. Troll Fantasy Old World models. There, yeah. Oh, these guys are great. Oh, let's switch back over to Google real quick. So these are the old world trolls, and I like their big ears. They're almost like elephant seal looking nose, really rocky, weird skin, and the bright color is fun. I also like this is a good image of some trolls just vomiting up acid, more like almost fish looking with those fin like ears. Yeah, this right here, like that's my kind of troll. That is a good looking troll. Or this. Oh man, come on. Oh, look at his arm. It's all like broken and smashed and it's like regenerating bone. Or it's even like a poorly regenerated arm. That's so sick. That is so sick. Okay, let's actually do some brainstorming, shall we? What won the poll? 67% of y'all wanted the troll cauldrons. Okay. Well, we'll end that poll and let's jump into it. The troll cauldrons was... What hex was that? Hex... I need to renumber this map, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's 9. Should be 9. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, the troll cauldrons. What a fun name. Okay, sorry. I guess I wasn't as prepared for this as I thought I was. Hang on. Where are our troll cauldrons? There we go. Just copy that description down. Where are you? There we go. Okay. So the troll cauldrons are a jungle lowland flooded by its many sulfuric geysers, which invasive cannibal trolls from the south use like cauldrons to boil their meals. I'll just get that one little weird word up. Cool. So we've got that. We've got our little map here to kind of give us a reference point for what's near it. So directly north of it, we have the Pocked Mountain, Facepocker's lair, the Black Dragon. To the northwest, we've got the Mantrap Delta, and to the northeast, the Tangled Ivory. Let's go ahead, delete out those. And I believe I had that at 0.10 font. Okay, let's start brainstorming some ideas. While you guys drop a few in the chat, I'm just going to copy and paste a couple of these down so that they're ready to go. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll go with 10. If we can get that many ideas on here, that would be great. At the very least, we'll have like 6 or 8. So this is a single list of just like you can almost basically think of this one as the critical lore list about this area. So if you have ideas for like what are is there a troll tribe that lives here? What are they called? Who leads that tribe? If you've got ideas for like the way we want to describe the hazards of moving through here with the geysers, what causes them to erupt? Maybe the people believe that the geysers erupt, like they boil over, like when you have a pot of water on a stove and you leave it boiling for too long and it starts to boil over. Maybe the people of the jungle or the people here believe that they boil over once a troll has like cooked something for too long in it. Just a random idea. Or what are other cool ideas? Like what are the ruins in this area? Are there any ruins? Like the city, the Violet Port didn't expand very far into the jungle. The Alabaster Citadel, or the Citadel of Ivory, is just like this really remote little village, so they obviously haven't built much down here. But we do know that this jungle has legends of golden cities. Now, one of those we've talked about is that the city that was building the airships, they were helping in the construction of the Ark, and it was smited off the planet, and now it's the Bombarded Gardens. But that doesn't mean there couldn't also be other, even older cities down in the jungle, and I feel like this is a really good hex to put some of those in. In fact, I might even drop... I kind of want to explore that idea right now. What sorts of cities could be down in this cauldron area? Like, do we have some sort of elf settlement here that's fallen to ruin from all these geysers that were erupting? The trolls invaded and took over the elf settlement. Although, like in my set, when I'm thinking of a fantasy world, 9 times out of 10, a ruin is humans. You know, when humans are the most dominant species on the world, then you're going to just run into a lot of their ruins a lot more. Whereas elves and dwarves, they're really remote, and they tend to not lose their things as easily as humans do, at least in my mind. What could be a cool theme for some human ruins down here? Like, what would be a good vibe? We obviously could have the jungle, or the dinosaur hunting people, but we already sort of have that with the ivory night, so I don't want to just copy-paste that same vibe. Kenneth says, maybe the trolls are always fighting like orcs in 40k, so they are tribal and are always fighting for the parts that are a little cooler for them to live in. Oh, I like that idea. Troll tribes are constantly warring for the best cauldrons and the most fortified ruins. Great idea. Could we think of some cool themes for these trolls, or these troll tribes? What would be fun? Trolls have the regeneration going for them. We're in this wretched jungle. What would be cool? Do we want one that like wears, they like something where they like, what could they take from the jungle to push? If they're regrowing an arm, they fuse it with something. They like regenerate with dinosaur parts. That's kind of interesting. So like mutant dinosaur vibes. We could do something with birds. When I think of a jungle, one of the first things that comes to mind is always birds. Big, huge, colorful birds. So maybe the trolls like to catch and eat them. So they're like the beak snappers. Could be a fun one. What's one more? Maybe they... Something with plants now. Maybe something like strangling with plants, or... I'm not sure. Let's see if one of y'all can come up with a cool one. Skull Knight dropping an idea. We could have an ancient city that was carved into the walls of the volcano itself. For looks, you could think of sort of an ancient Sumerian architecture. Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, so there isn't like, you know, the volcano is Facepocker's lair, the Pocked Mountain, which is the hexed north of here. So it could be ruins of one of those kingdoms. Oh, you know, maybe it could, now that we mentioned Facepocker, maybe there is something about the ruins of this previous kingdom that's like the northernmost point of the kingdom, right? You can see these grayed out hexes. Whoa, whoops. The grayed out hexes beneath the colorful ones. My idea is like, that's just, once you enter into those hexes, you're no longer in the Retched Tropics. You're in another part of the old world. So maybe like a kingdom expanded up from the south and the ruins belonged to them and they were sort of here to try and defeat Facepocker, but he beat them. That could be cool. Ken is saying we've got human ruins, the bog, maybe a dam or a place that controlled a lot of water at one point. But, ooh, yeah. Yeah, I've got two ideas popping in my head. One is the sulfuric vents have sort of always been here and the people kind of built around them. My other idea is that the vents were a result of Facepocker. His fury caused the lands to explode up with all this volcanic activity, sulfuric volcanic activity, and that's like a scar he has placed on the realm. Just describing that, I'm already sold on it. So we'll say sulfuric, sulfuric, there we go, vents are a result of Facepocker's fury in a great battle against the invading human kingdom from the south. Okay, so we've established a little fun lore. The vents here, the sulfuric activity, are a result of Facepocker, but the trolls have moved in and are using them for their own purposes. I still don't know what to do for our human kingdom. Skull Knight does have a cool idea of the human carved out of the volcano, but if we're going with this idea that I've sort of established here, that the people have invaded, or they came up from the south to destroy Facepocker, or take the mountain from him, or hunt this dragon, then it's probably still a jungly area south of the Retched Tropics, so we could still work with that vibe, but there's not necessarily a volcano in this area that they built around, per se, because they were never able to take the Pocked Mountain from this black dragon. Could we do something with, like, tigers? Like a Bengal... Oh, speaking of which, just because it's another one of my favorite pieces of art that I did for the Doom Stronghold. Let me show this one real quick. Yeah, look at that one. That one was so cool. So it was like a ziggurat that I cut out. Then I added those little tiger statues on the side. Threw on this like tiger head and this weird stone ring that if I get it close enough, you can just make out. Yeah, wow, that camera is really good. There's like a tiger in that circular piece of stone, and it's sort of sunken into this jungle, swampy water. So fun. Could that be a theme for it? Like a bangled, striped... I'm seeing like warriors, like true almost Aztec warriors with tiger pelts, big tiger head dresses. Their weapons are all made from tiger claws. They could even be like a were-tiger. Ooh! I mean, what jungle in a D&D world isn't complete without a were-tiger threatening it? So the survivors of this kingdom are cursed, and they're stuck here as were-tigers. I like that idea. So or dragon hunting mortal kingdom is themed around tigers, and maybe like the nobles had or nobles were were-tigers who still stalk this I don't even want to maybe limit them to this area. We could just say they still stalk the tropics, hunting Facepocker's children. Ooh, that's cool. So maybe that would immediately give me an idea of a random encounter where the party finds one of Facepocker's monstrous spawn dead out in the jungle, and they're like, what the, like, we didn't kill this thing. We know that the Ivory Knights, they are not out on any of their hunts right now. The people from the Violet Port, they definitely didn't do this. I mean, maybe a dinosaur did it, but if they investigate this corpse, the wounds, like, it's clearly been stabbed and clawed open with spears and things, and there's like bite marks, and that could be their first hint that there is something else in this forest that is hunting these dragons, and it's not just us. And are they gonna hunt us too? Oh, that's cool. Oh, but we need an idea for their ruins. Do we want to do ziggurats? We've already got the ziggurats to the north of the Pocked Mountain, which I think we're gonna call the Heavenly Steps or Heaven Steps, because the idea being like a ziggurat has steps on the face, so that's just what people that's why they think it's called that. You climb up these ziggurats and you reach the temples at the top of them where the gods are. But the truth is, it's called the Heaven Steps because the ships, the airport, or not the airport, the docking bays that are hidden beneath them contain the ships that would go up into the heavens. So it's like you board the ship and you climb the steps, or you take off from them up into the sky. So another double meaning in the name there. Okay, so anyways, coming back to it though, we've got the tiger-themed mortals who came up from the south to hunt Facepocker. They built, what kind of ruins do they build? I guess like ziggurat fortresses. They're not like huge temples, and they're not grand cities, but it's just like little random dungeons you could find. I think that makes sense. So we'll see whose nobles were were-tigers, blah 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 blah. Then area is littered, cat litter, with their bangled ziggurat fortresses. Cool, very fun. What's up, Infinite? How you doing? Good morning. Kenneth said maybe one more. I'm not sure if it's a wait. One more. Maybe one more what? I feel like it's missing a part of that sentence. Ooh, you had a fossil kind. Oh, that's a cool idea. Kenneth, some sort of fossil vibe. Oh, man. That's really cool. Like dragon warrior. Or not dragon warriors, like dinosaur warriors. Oh. I'm very torn. The fossil vibe is cool, especially if they're like bringing fossils with them into this jungle. But this idea of packs of were-tigers hunting dragons and dinosaurs is also so cool. I might... I'll do a poll. The humans are were-tiger warriors, or are they fossil warriors? I'll let y'all decide. Yeah, Infinite. I'm glad the streams are back too. And no worries if you missed some. There will always be more, and they're always there for you to go watch the VODs later, right? Voice crack. Also, another reason to follow, just while that poll's running, I'll quickly show off the... So if you aren't already following my Patreon, you can follow for free. You don't have to be a paying member to just follow. And on most weekdays, almost every weekday, sometimes like when Friday rolls around, I'm just like too busy. I'm not able to get a post up, but usually I'll get a morning ritual post up. And I have been, you can attach a video to these posts, these blog posts. And so anytime we do a stream, the next morning, I just upload the VOD as a video into that Patreon post. So not only can you go watch that, then you can also read some like behind the scenes stuff or some of my notes about these ideas or thoughts that I have for future things. Or like in today's morning ritual, I posted or I put the video to the Phoenix Spire, which it didn't blow up the same way as it did on TikTok and Instagram as it did on YouTube, or it didn't blow up on YouTube the same way it did over on those two platforms. But this video, it has like over 100,000 views on Instagram and TikTok. People really liked this idea. Anyways, you can watch that video. And then you also have a D8 list of some wizard character ideas I put up on here. So there's definitely reasons to go follow the Patreon, even if you aren't a tithe-giving member, which is totally fine. But that's the best place to kind of just be always in the loop about what's going on with the church. Anywho, back to our troll cauldrons. Let's see our poll. What did we end up on? Oh, Fossil Warriors won out. Okay. Well, there you go, Kenneth. Congrats on winning the poll. We gotta change this idea then. So the human kingdom was built from fossils and were dinosaur tamers. This is all really rough text, right? This all sounds super lame, but we're just getting the ideas down here. Let's see. Kenneth, yeah. Zegorots. I don't know how to spell it. I know it took me a while to finally remember that it's a U in the first one. Let me get this idea down, and then I saw an interesting question from the dude about ChatGPT stuff. I'll jump into that in a moment, but let me just finish this thought. So the human kingdom was built from fossils and were dinosaur tamers who came here to expand their kingdom and slay Facepocker. Oh, this is cool. I like this idea now that they're fossil dinosaur riding people, because then they were destroyed by this volcanic activity. And also, I mean, it's not quite the same as the dinosaurs being destroyed by a meteor, because the meteors that struck this area were north of Facepocker's mountain. But still, there were dinosaur riders in the area that then got destroyed by the fiery volcanic apocalypse that came to this area. Very cool. Very cool. We'll say the northern tip of kingdom was destroyed by Facepocker's. Oh, I guess we kind of already note that here. So, and these are like, when I finalize this later, I do some editing off stream. Some of these might get combined into one point, which is totally fine. But anyways, the human kingdom was built from fossils and were dinosaur tamers who came here to expand their kingdom and slay Facepocker. Okay, so when it fell into ruin, though, are there still people? Maybe we have it be elves. This could be cool. Yeah, we already have two human settlements. Why not introduce some elves? So surviving elves still stalk the jungles or the tropics as dinosaur riding. I don't want to just say hunters, because we've got the ivory knights who are sort of hunters. Maybe we just say surviving elves still stalk the tropics atop their dinosaurs, hunting Facepockers spawn. That still works. So they're the sworn enemy of Facepocker. These dinosaur riding elves. That sounds like Eldar from 40K. Very cool. All right, the dude 109 asked, how do you feel about using ChatGPT as a source of potential ideas? I'll be honest, I don't like it. I think that it is a easy... Well, So to me, going on to ChatGPT and just saying, give me 8 ideas for an order of dragon hunting knights, like... I don't like it because I feel like it does the brunt of the bulk of the work for you. And you're sort of just kind of like, oh yeah, that is kind of cool. I'll take that, sure. And then you maybe add a little bit onto it. Whereas if you go to like a website like Random Name Generator and you generate, give me some knight order names, and then you take one of those and you really like it and you expand it out. That, like, I like that more. Now you could make the case of like, well, I could just go to ChatGPT and say, give me a list of 8 names for a knightly order, and it does the same thing that the name generator website does. I guess, like, that's fair. Like, I don't necessarily have a good argument against that. Like, there are ways you can use ChatGPT that it's not just like lazy creativity. But from what I understand, like, AI models are also like horrible for the environment. They use so much electricity and they put out so much heat and CO2 and stuff that it's like not good. So I tend to just, at this point in my life, I'm just like, I kind of just avoid any and all AI that I can. I'm just not interested in it. I would rather take an hour to come up with my own ideas than the 60 seconds it takes to type in a prompt and just have it give it to me. Now, do I think that it's inherently wrong to use ChatGPT to help you with your D&D stuff? No. This is more of a preference thing. But yeah, I don't use it. I think the only thing I once tried was like, it was late at night. I'm like, oh my God, the editing of some of this stuff is like just killing me. And I was like, I wonder what ChatGPT could do. So I typed into it like, edit these, make them grammatically make sense but like keep them to one sentence. And I ran it and it did it. And it did a pretty good job at it. But afterwards I was like, I don't feel good about this though. Like, I don't want to be reliant upon this. And I don't know, maybe the technology will get to a point where it's not as like bad for the environment, or maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe at some point I will see more of a benefit in using it. But for right now, it's not really my thing. Oh, Skull Knight, you were ahead of me on that with the Eldar riding dinosaur. Again, Warhammer Old World, Seraphim springs to mind. Oh, no. The Seraphim aren't, we're at different pages. But I also know what you're talking about, the lizard dinosaur folk people. Yeah, that's cool. Unsuspicious Bongos. I don't know if I've ever seen that name in chat before. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Hope you all are well. I don't know if I'll be able to help, but I'm having fun listening. Well, good. I'm glad you're here listening and having a good time. And also apologies if you have been here before and I just don't remember the name. But Unsuspicious Bongos, that's a pretty unique one. I dig it. Okay. Let's get caught up on chat. What's up, Noble Knight? Welcome into chat. What are we doing? Right now we are working on the Troll Cauldrons, Hex 11. We're just brainstorming ideas for that. So far what we know about it is that the troll tribes here are constantly warring with each other over control of the best cauldrons or the best sulfuric vents. We know that this area became a sulfuric bog wasteland when a group of elves kind of tried to expand their territory up from the southern jungles beyond the Retched Tropics. And they moved into Hex 11 and kind of built up some ruins and tried to kill Facepocker, but he, in his fury, caused a bunch of volcanic activity that destroyed these elves, and now that like what few are left of them sort of stay here riding jungles as these ancient dragon hunters who have a goal to one day kill Facepocker. So that we came up with that idea. It has nothing to do with really trolls, but it was more just the history of this area. So now that we've got that established, we can come back to our idea for trolls or other monsters in the area. Maybe we need an idea for what causes the... Actually, I already sort of had an idea, but like what causes the sulfuric activity to become more active? I thought maybe it has something to do with the trolls like cooking something for too long, but I don't know if I love that idea. But we definitely have plenty of room for more ideas about the troll cauldrons. What could we do? Maybe there's like a troll... When I hear cauldron, I think of a hag. Maybe there's some sort of troll witch that lives in the area, and she's sort of... I mean, we had the idea that the trolls are constantly fighting with each other, but maybe all of the trolls spawn from this troll witch, the troll mother, and her kids are always infighting, and she doesn't even really care. She just, as long as they bring her food, she's happy. Ooh, I like this idea. The trolls all spawn from a troll witch mother who doesn't care for her children's bickering and infighting as long as they keep her fed. What does she live in? We had the elf kingdom that was themed around fossils and dinosaurs. I don't quite have a great idea for what their keeps look like. Oh, see, part of me is like, oh, but the Bengal stuff was so cool. Like ziggurat, tiger-themed architecture would be really fun. So I'm like, do I want to go back to that? But no, I'm going to respect the poll. But I'm also having an idea of, or I thought, like, if the elves ride these dinosaurs and use them in their fight against Facepocker, then the elves do not like the Alabaster Knights who come down to hunt these dinosaurs. So that's a great source of conflict between the elves and the humans. So that's another cool reason to leave it. I guess we could still just go with like dinosaur ziggurat sort of stuff, maybe. Noble Knight dropped an idea, said maybe a group of mercenaries are trying to use the vents as power for something, maybe a spell, and something goes horribly wrong. Could be a cool idea. Badfrad saying the hag could be the guardian of the sulfur, but what does the hag want though? I think it could be cool if you had a specific sulfur element that vagabond around. Oh, I see what you're saying. There's like sulfuric elementals that, by vagabond, I think that's another word for basically like loiter. They like hang around the area, yeah. Well, to answer that previous question, what does the hag want? I think it's to lean into this idea of the trolls using the sulfur vents to cook things. It's not a normal hag, like a fey, human-looking hag. It's a troll witch, or a troll hag. I guess it doesn't really matter the term you use there, but she's here because she loves that her kids cook her meals in the sulfuric vents and bring her the food. So she's this huge, massive troll that I envision her as being like so big she can't like move on her own. She can't like go hunt anymore. She's so well fed. Maybe she like sits in a pool of sulfur. Like she's so big that the acid can't even stop her from regenerating. Oh, that's a cool idea. Is so massive she can sit in a bath of sulfur, of boiling sulfur, and still regenerate. Oh, what a cool idea. Sulfur elementals is an interesting idea. We've done quite a... Well, maybe not quite a bit, but we do have some elemental activity at the Ruptured Hive, our volcano at Hex 4? Hex 4. So, I mean, we certainly could keep doing more sulfuric elemental things, but I'm kind of interested in expanding outside of that a little bit. Noble Knight says maybe the Troll Mother lives in an immaculate palace that you wouldn't expect trolls to be able to build. Maybe it's actually built by gnomes that worked for her. It could be gnomes, or it could have been built by the elves, right? We have this history of the dinosaur-riding elves who tried to build their kingdom up into this area, so they could certainly live, or she could certainly live in an elf ruin. I mentioned that, one, because it's a tie-in from our previously established lore, but two, it's like, not every region of a D&D world has to have all of the fantastical races or species or whatever present, right? We don't have to have dwarves and elves and gnomes and halflings and humans. It's like, we could just have humans and elves in this area. And that's fine. Like that, you know, we don't have gnolls here. We don't have orcs here. Like, we don't have every single thing from a fantasy world has to be crammed into this one area. I'm not saying that's necessarily what you were trying to do, Noble Knight. But that's just where my mind goes. Of like, oh, well, if there's a gnome character in the party, they might be the only gnome here. And that makes them even more fantastical feeling. Hidden had an idea. Maybe the trolls wish for the troll hag's favor or blessing, and so they compete for the best location to get the privilege of housing and serving her. Oh, interesting. They fight to... Yeah, okay, we can add that idea. The trolls are constantly warring for the best cauldrons and the most fortified ruins to better serve the troll mother. Very cool idea. So it is more of a status thing than like a border drawing. It's not like a human kingdom per se. It's more of just like, you know, whoever cooks the best food for mother this week gets to use the, I don't know, I can't think of like a cool elf ruin. The fossil elf dinosaur theme is, nothing's like coming to mind quite yet for what their architecture looks like. So if anybody's got an idea for that, I would love to hear it. Okay, I want to try and get a point down that has something to do more with like the sulfuric ideas here. Like the environmental hazards. If you're exploring this area, if you're just moving through here, what makes it deadly or dangerous? I like this idea. I've kind of touched on it twice already, but this idea that the vents, the cauldrons boil over like a pot on a stove. The sulfur cauldrons often boil over and cause sudden flooding of poisonous boiling hot water. This is caused... What causes that? I mean, it could just be random, right? We don't have to have a reason. But it feels like an opportunity to come up with something fantastical. Well, here's an idea. If we know that the sulfuric vents were all opened up from Facepocker going crazy in his fury to fight these elves, then maybe they rupture when Facepocker is active. Like the legend says, this happens only when Facepocker stirs from his slumber. That's cool. I like it. It's a fun one. Bad Frad says, I think it would be interesting if you gave the hag a rival, maybe some sort of wizard. It would be hard. It would, yeah, another good point, Brad Frad. It would be super hard to breathe here. Like the air is poisonous, and I'm trying to decide, like, is that something that just is in the general, like, if we know that about all of the Retched Tropics, like, that's sort of already in the description of it, no matter where you go, it's poisonous. I'm trying to think, do we need to do anything special about that description here, or is it implied, and we don't necessarily need to point out that the air is poisonous? Is there something about the fact that the trolls are cooking things in it that makes it extra poisonous? I don't know. Hidden, I think, is building off this idea of a rival for the troll mother. Perhaps or maybe not. Could be that she fashions human followers into chessboard game pieces to compete against the wizard every cycle, and the winner gets a condition over the other, like a game of Risk. A fun idea. I don't, in my head right now, I don't imagine these trolls as being like that sophisticated. I see them as like tribal. I even described them as cannibalistic, at least in the, oh, maybe I haven't mentioned that anywhere before. Oh no, I did. Invasive cannibal trolls. I see them as just like terrifying, savage monsters who eat each other in addition to whatever they can catch. So I don't really see it as like the queen of these trolls, or the mother, is like playing chess. Like, fun idea for a different region and a different person, but not this one. I do like the rival idea, Brad Frad, is interesting, and I think it could be the elves, right? She, like, ooh, here's an idea. Where do I want to add this? I'm not sure. My thought is the elves are like, if whatever trolls bring the troll mother an elf and cook the elf, that is like the best meal they could ever hope for. Where would that fit in? Maybe we just add it as its own, I guess. Does it need to be added? Well, sure. Why the hell not? Elves are I don't want to use the word delicacy because that makes the troll sound sophisticated. Are a favored meal amongst the trolls. This is a fun idea, but it doesn't feel like one that needs to have its own point, so I might replace it with something else. But I definitely think the elves and the trolls have a natural rivalry here. But it's more like the elves hate the dragon, and they're trying to hunt the dragon, and the trolls are constantly hunting the elves to eat them, and the elves are just like, they don't want to deal with these trolls. That's not their main objective. But anyways, let's see. Bradfred also asking, or putting in here, perhaps exposure to the fumes gives some trolls enlightenment. Yeah, maybe. But again, I want them to be these cannibalistic, savage, terrifying monsters. I don't want them to be this, like, enlightened society of trolls out in the middle of the Retched Tropics. In my world, gnolls, orcs, trolls, goblins, all of those things, they are monsters. Like, my players in my group, unfortunately, I'm just like, sorry, but you can't play a bugbear. You can't play a minotaur. Those things are monsters. In my world. That's just how I like it. I like there to not be as much ambiguity. Is that the right word for it? Like, when you see an orc, I want the first instinct to be, that thing is an unnatural monster of, like, mysterious, or like in Lord of the Rings. I love that they're like elves that have been corrupted and dug out of the mud, and they're these horrific things that just want to kill people. That's cool. That's like fun for a fantasy world. Okay. So we've got... I want to do a point specifically about these elf ruins, because that not only will tell us more about the elves, but it also will give us ideas for the exploration encounters and the environments that you can have those encounters occur in. You know, not every fight in this section of jungle has to just be in some... You could have... I'm imagining a fight on a bridge, an elf-built stone bridge over a sulfuric bog, and the bridge is crumbling, and you have a risk of falling down into the sulfur lava. So what do these ruins look like? It's so hard. I would say architecture is one of my, like, most difficult areas to feel, like, confident in, because I just, like, all I can picture in my head are ziggurats or, you know, medieval classic architecture. I'm like, well, I don't obviously want that. These things are elves, and we've talked about fossils. What do they do? And I also really, really, really don't want it to be too similar to our ivory knights, who use bones and things to make their structures. I want them to be very distinctly different. Skull Knight said, just notices the background music, Eric's Sadie. I don't know if that's the name of the person who did it. I have it linked at the bottom of the description of the video. It's like music is used with permission from I think they're called Lost in the Forest. They were on SoundCloud. They said, I found their, like, post in a Reddit forum. They're like, you can use my stuff on your videos. Just make sure you credit me. So I always link it back to it. And I bought all of it. I purchased it. So they got my coin. But anyways, if you enjoy the music, you should go. Yeah, you can go check it out in that link. Noble Knight says, ooh, maybe like a caveman vibe for the elves. I don't know about caveman, but I like this idea that they're almost druidic. Like elves, like, live in balance with nature. Man, this is tough. What if they live in nests? Like dinosaurs they lay eggs, they have big nests. Maybe they could have their nests up in the trees? That doesn't really feel like dinosaur-y, though. They ride dinosaurs. It's like, oh, maybe they ride it like a horse, and it's like no, I don't want cowboy vibes getting kind of mixed in where they're like saddling up their dinosaurs and like hitching them to a post or something. Moldable but tough stone. Yeah, I was thinking they could be some sort of like earth elemental magics. Oh, what if they were like necromancers? It is very similar to the Ivory Knights in that they're like using dinosaur bones, but the big difference is The Alabaster Knights, or the people of that village, they hate necromancy. They hate any sort of necromancy that raises bones from the dead, because in their mind, the way I described it is like, it's an insult to the sacrifices their people make to go out on these hunts and maintain their way of life. So like, if they go out and kill a dinosaur and harvest its bones and then you just raise it from the dead, that is like a huge taboo for them. Then that could explain why there's this even bigger, it's not a rivalry, it's like hostility between the humans and the elves, because these elves raise dinosaurs up from the dead. They raise up their fossils and fossilized stone to build their huts. This is cool. Elves are necromancers who raise up dinosaur bones to fight for them and use fossilized bones, trees, ancient stone to build their fortresses. Good idea. Who was that? Who dropped that? Did somebody say it? I think it might have been off of Kenneth. Yeah, a moldable stone, and then Noble Knight with that caveman sort of vibe, like living in caves and stuff. That all kind of fits together into a cool idea. Thanks for those ideas. Hidden says, I could see drow elves moving in with one of the environment, like the Fremen in Dune. Oh, I see. So, yeah, because the Fremen are I haven't read Dune. I would hardly say I'm like a Dune fanatic, but like Dune 2, I've watched that on Netflix again the other day. I'm like, oh my god, this movie is so sick. The Fremen are like the natives of the world, right? Who live out in the dunes. And so the drow elves could be sort of a similar vibe. We could totally go dark elf vibe here. Are they... Yeah, we could do that. That would also lend to like the hostilities too. Like you've got these evil elves who have but do they live underground? Like that's kind of the whole vibe of the dark elves, right? They live deep in the Underdark. So why are they on the surface? So I might stick with just normal elves, because I also like that the hostilities between the elves and the humans, it's not because one of them is good and the other is evil. They're both good. They just have completely different cultures and lifestyles and things that naturally bring them into conflict with each other. So I see your point that it could be cool with or drow, but I don't know if it... I want my drow to be drow. They're down in the Underdarks. Or I think I call them the Deep Realms. Okay. How many have we got here? Ideas so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want at least 2 more. I'm going to add on to here, so there's like bridges of fossilized stone crossing over sulfur rivers. There are... What would it look like? Is it beautiful? I mean, they're elves, so I feel like it needs to be beautiful. Maybe it's not just, like, they are able to mold the earth? I'm trying to think if there's, like, gemstones, like, set into all of their structures, or if it's just the beautiful swirling textures of, like, fossilized shells and things like that kind of depict their lifestyle. Oh, I'm seeing, like, images of elf bones, like, set into the rock. Like, they, instead of cave paintings, it is pressed bone into rock that creates cool scenes. And that's cool. Bone temples, etc. I'll flesh that out later. Noble Knight says, maybe the canopy of the trees is so thick that they don't have to be underground because none of the light reaches the surface. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Kenneth says, the Underdark is too much at the moment, or worse. Wait, the Underdark is too much at the moment, or worse, the Underdark collapses, or so toxic that not even their gods can take on the poisons of the Underdark is gone. Oh, is that in your campaign? That the Underdark is gone in your setting? That's, I mean, it's cool. That idea that the Underdark is like collapsing in on itself and that not even the gods dare to go down there. That's fun. Okay. Maybe we need some ideas of like the other monsters that live in the area, or treasures. Like, why would the characters want to go here? I mean, they could go plunder elven ruins. That begs the question, like, why don't the elves of the region... I guess there's just not enough of them to, like, protect all of their ruins, and they're more concerned with hunting the dragon than they are, like, collecting all of their lost treasures. So that could be fun. Maybe that's part of like the Golden Cities legend. I mean, do these elves have a bunch of gold? Why would they have a bunch of gold? They use fossils and stuff, so that doesn't feel like it fits. But gemstones does feel right. Legends tell of elven cities sunken into sulfuric lava that are riddled with priceless gemstones and elven treasures. There's your adventure hook. Why would you go here? Ooh, magical amber. That's a cool idea, Noble. Oh, yeah, magical amber. That has like a golden color to it. And that's from Jurassic Park, that helps. That's a trope that people would be able to connect easily. Like, oh, yeah, I get where that's sort of coming from, or like why amber is being compared to gold and what it has to do with dinosaurs. That's fun. Priceless gemstones and amber, or we could say elven treasures made from amber. Or we could even call them primordial treasures. Hidden says, I like keeping it about ideology differences. Seems so natural. I've never been much of a fan of the very clear good and evil duality inherent in races of D&D, so that sounds dope. I'm sort of like, you might have missed it just a minute ago, I was talking about it, where I'm somewhere in between, where for the mortals, the elves, the dwarves, the humans, that stuff. Yeah, the conflict comes from differences in beliefs and cultures and things. But when it comes to orcs or the drow or the goblins and the gnolls, those are on my scale. I do have a good evil scale, and they are evil. They are things that have been made from monsters or have been cursed or have whatever other thing has just made them inherently a foe of the world. So there's room for both in my setting, and in this instance, mortal versus mortal, one of them just isn't inherently going to be evil. Oh shoot, I forgot my laptop charger, and I'm seeing my laptop's getting a little low on battery. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. It's all the way upstairs. I totally forgot to grab that. I'll be right back, but keep dropping some ideas I want ideas for the environmental hazards here, other monsters that are in the area, adventure hooks, all that sort of stuff. So I'll be right back, and then I'll get caught up on chat. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Noble Knight had an idea for some rare magical herbs that have healing properties in the area. Kenneth says maybe something about a fallen god or an angel that has been cited or rumored to have been here. Or maybe that the trolls found a means to solve one of the problems with the druids with the spices? Oh, there's like yeah, so that's a cool idea. The Violet Port is a human settlement to the far west that has been infected. Like, it's led by druids, but they have been infected by this fungal Xenos parasite that fell down amongst the stars that created the bombarded garden. So they have been, they're mind controlled basically. So maybe there is something here that could help them. Maybe. Hidden said Amber is also all about preservation, so that kind of meshes with the whole theme of necromancy strangely. Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. Noble Knight says a hazard could be lots of magically poisonous insects like spiders and centipedes. They can act as both monsters and traps. Kenneth says there's obviously the bog has like boiling hot water. Or mud that can strip flesh from bones. Ooh. Oh, what about here's a cool, okay, you just gave me an idea. There's gotta be like lots of I'm imagining anything that is like when the trolls toss their leftovers or something, or leave something boiling in the cauldron for too long, it can animate the bones. So skeletal monsters crawl out of geysers they're left boiling in for too long, or come crawling up out of boiling mud. Maybe that needs to just be more focused on, is it the cauldrons or is it just anywhere in this jungle where there's mud? If something is boiled down to it, once all their flesh is stripped off, then the skeleton just rises up. That's a cool idea. Almost like a tar pit kind of a vibe. Who was that? Was that Noble Knight? Or was that... Oh, it was Kenneth. Another great idea from Kenneth. Very nice. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? No, I think we're good. And there's 10 points is just probably not going to fit here, which is fine. We can just delete those. Or if I decide to add some later, I can just make the image a little bit smaller. But there we go. The Troll Cauldrons has been brainstormed, and what a cool vibe indeed. All right, we've got the Tangled Ivory. We have, well, let's go up to our map, and we'll do a little poll again. See what everybody wants to do. Let's brainstorm. The man-eating mangrove. The Tangled Ivory. We could do the Retched Quagmire, or Mystery Hex, which is Hex 6. We'd have to come up with that whole vibe because we don't have anything for that yet. But what do you guys want to do now? This is going to look so sick. The black and white, another benefit from it is it makes it a little bit quicker. I don't have to spend as much time switching colors back and forth and trying to layer different colors. Like, for example, right here with this like cliffside, you can see there's some jungle area, and then there's the rock. And if I was doing multiple colors, I might be like, well, I want the rock to be white, but I want the jungle to be green. So then I have to crop out all where the rock is and layer things over each other, and it is a lot of work. It takes more time than you'd think. But when it's black and white, I can kind of just crank through stuff a lot faster. Dang, these gummy bears are super good. What are we feeling on our poll? Retched Quagmire. Okay. Let's do it. Retched Quagmire is 1, 2, 3, 4. Hex 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need to get our description. So the Retched Quagmire is a blistering bog caught between the ruptured hive and the pocked mountain, whose runoffs of lava, sulfur, and boiling rivers form an inhospitable wetland for all but the jungle's most foul and repugnant beasts. So sick. Oh shoot, I need to... You know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. I'm being anal about the formatting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna just do this real fast so then I can copy and paste it onto all the others, so I don't have to do this every time. While I'm doing this, for anybody that is like interested in using this in a future campaign, or just like wants to have the finished product and the finished PDF, it's gonna be going up on the Patreon at the end of May. So this is this month's project, this month's zine. And so if you become a $3 patron, then at the end of the month, not only will you get this, but you can go back into all previous posts and you can get the traveling NPC zine, and then anything else that I've published before then as well. So if you aren't a patron already, there's a reason to become one. Link in the description. Is that all of them? I think just a couple up above it needed it. Yep. Ah. This way is so much easier than being like, all right, well, I need a list of NPCs, and I need a list of locations, and I need a list of blah, 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 blah. Like, just doing one, honestly, just so much easier. So much easier. Okay. Yeah, Kenneth, it is another bog, so we do want to make it different. And the Retched Quagmire is like, it's like a jungle swamp, whereas the cauldrons, yes, there are lots of sulfuric vents, but it's more of like volcanic activity. It's hot and you're not quite needing to go through like bog water. And I think I probably just did a bad job of like remembering that distinction when we were talking about the troll cauldrons. It's not meant to be so flooded. This area is super flooded. And very, like, if you don't have a boat, a canoe or something, it's going to be really difficult to move through the area. In fact, that might just even be one of the little notes I put on here. Moving through the area without a canoe is extremely dangerous. Well, difficult and dangerous. That's like kind of a lame one to be on the list, especially number 1. So that'll get pushed down the list later, but... Kenneth, is this place more hospitable or still hostile? If it is not a settlement in my world, then consider it hostile. It is a post-apocalyptic world warped by foul magics. It is a bad place to be. Really not where you want to live, anywhere on the old world. Noble Knight said maybe one of the hazards is an animated plant that drags players into the bog and tries to drown them. Yeah, we could do some... What could be cool? Like, it's like a cool bog plant. What does that sound? Oh, I think Erin's cooking some soup. She likes her soup so overcooked and overboiled. But what was... Oh, yeah, so like plant life in a swampy, jungly bog. Or also I was thinking like, this could be a cool place to do... This is where you've got your jungle crocodiles. You've got your jungle boa, or boa constrictor, python? What's the kind? I think the boa is the one that's in the water, right? You've got, and all of these would have some sort of elemental sort of vibe to them. This is where Facepocker's children tend to end up, because they're not being hunted. If they go south, they're constantly being hunted by the elves, or they're fighting for their territory against the dinosaurs in the Tangled Ivory. But the sulfuric bog, there's nothing really there that can compete with them. The magma beetles from Hex 2, they're not a threat. In fact, these Facepocker dragon spawns hunt those. I note that in I think I note that in that Hex's description. So let's add that idea here, though. That area is crawling with elemental. I hate that word elemental. It's like a nothing burger. It doesn't really tell you much. But elemental. Would it be alligators or crocodiles? Probably crocodiles, right? Crocodiles, boas, piranhas would be cool. I don't know how to spell it. Piranhas, sure. And Facepocker's children come here to avoid elf hunters and territorial dinosaurs to the south. Cool. What is that sound? Everything's probably fine. I hope nothing's boiling over. It's probably okay. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Welcome back, Infinite. Good to see you in the chat again. Ooh, Noble Knight has saying something for the vegetation. Could be a type of a lily pad monster. Yeah, I was thinking of something where like, ooh, what about a lily pad that when you walk on it, it closes up and it pulls you down and you're like boiled alive inside this lily pad? That could be kind of cool. Kenneth saying it's super flooded. It's very tropical. Kind of feels like a crocodile, alligator, and even shark. Or oh yeah. We got those ideas. Infinite says for idea 1, does the canoe need to be acid resistant, or do you just need a little travel time, or you just get a little travel time before it falls apart? Interesting idea. That is cool. Ooh, what about canoes not lacquered? I think that's a word. Yeah, canoes not lacquered in maybe like black dragon's blood quickly melt or dissolves probably a better word, dissolve in the acidic swamp. So that's a reason why people would go hunt the spawn of Facepocker. If you can kill one of them, these black dragons which spew out acid and like their insides are made to be able to house that. Yeah, you can layer that lacquer onto this canoe like you would oil a piece of wood or something, and that's what allows it to survive. Not that you can't take a normal canoe out there, but it will, after a few, maybe you get like, if you're not pulling it up out of the water pretty regularly, yeah, it won't last more than a day. Great idea. That is so cool. Who was that? That was Infinite. Yeah, great idea. Oh, crocodiles are in saltwater, alligators are in freshwater. Okay, so then I guess it would be alligators. There could be some scattered houses in the quagmire. What lives in them? I don't know if this is a place anybody could really live, except like the lizard folk. There are lizard folk in Hex 2 that worship the Mantle Empress as their god, but I don't even know if they would want to go down into this area. I see the Retched Quagmire as being one of the worst places on the entire Jungle Peninsula, except maybe the Pocked Mountain. But even that's like easier to navigate than the bog. You just have to not get attacked by a dragon when you go there. Noble Knight says maybe things that are in the water are not the only threat. Maybe there's giant birds trying to pick up players that are too focused on the water. Cool idea. I hope I included it in the description, but that was an idea we had for Hex 2, that there were large birds and Facepocker's spawn would prey on the magma beetles, because they were the only things that were strong enough or had beaks or jaws that could crack through their shells to eat their insides. So this could be where lots of the birds nest, up in the trees. I like that. Lots of predatory birds nest in the trees here. Lots of predatory birds in the trees here. Trying to think, how do I make this description cool? It's like, oh yeah, there are birds here, but they hunt the bugs in area 2. But I mean, it could just be, what's cool about them? Maybe it's like scavenger birds. They, by the way, do you love the eating sounds of me eating a gummy bear? Isn't that great? Maybe they're scavengers. They pick at things that fall or are rotting away in the bog water. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, Hidden says, the Retched Quagmire brings me vibes of the swamp area in the game Darkwood. I've never heard of that game. Infinite says, what about some sort of wandering magical creature or a merchant harvesting the bog water's gases and selling it as a drug of sorts? We probably do need... I mean, we could have some sort of NPC in the area. But what? I'm not sure. But you do bring up an interesting point that there's something about the gases here that are magical or valuable, because the mixture of the elemental magma and the lava from Hex 2 meshing with this dragon-soaked sulfur and stuff, like kind of combining, could create something very interesting. Maybe like, there's like explosive obsidian. Obsidian is like is obsidian always super crystally and glass looking? Hold on. So obsidian rock. Yeah, it's always super smooth, which I don't quite want. Soapstone rock. I'm envisioning, or no, porous? Porous, that's how you spell. Yeah, so that's a volcanic type of rock. That's what I'm imagining. The magma that comes down from the elemental volcano meets this sulfuric water and other weird, foul, draconic drool that comes down from that mountain and creates this porous, explosive stone. That seems like a cool idea. I might replace that with the bird idea for now. Where the elemental lavas from, I'll just put Hex 3, and draconic sulfur from Hex, I can't remember, mix, an explosive type of porous stone is formed. Creates, walkways isn't the right word for it, but creates walkways through the swamp. So there are these, like, what's a good word for it? I'm almost imagining like desert canyons where you have the like not columns. Oh my gosh, I'm having the hardest time describing it. But like veins of rock that have the gorges and the canyons between them. You can kind of walk along the tops of them. Sort of a similar vibe here, but instead it's this slightly raised porous stone that you can try and navigate and walk across and hop across to avoid the sulfuric waters. And if you can harvest it, some of it can explode, but that's a very dangerous thing to do. Okay. Ooh, some slimes? Yeah, Noble, that's a good idea. We could definitely have some sulfuric slime monstrosities here. Maybe I'll add that up into this list where we had all the different types of monsters. Sulfur slimes. Ooh, Infinite says the predatory birds here could leave their eggs in the hot water to incubate them, even if they actually live on top of the trees. Oh, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Yeah. What could be a cool type of bird to put here? When I think of a swamp, you've got cranes or herons that walk on their big tall legs and have the like spear type beaks. Maybe we need to do another Google search here. Let's see. Swamp birds. What could be an interesting kind of bird? Oh, these are terrifying. What are those called? shoebill, a shoebill heron, is that type? Or stork? God, something like that would be so freaky. I'm just looking to see if anything else sort of jumps out at me. Although this does seem to be obviously the scariest type. Yeah, maybe we do something like that. They have, like their legs could be resistant to the waters. Do we just go with another elemental storks? Stalk the swamp. With legs, or scaly legs resistant to the sulfur or the acidic waters. Trying to think what makes them, like, are they the main threat here, or is it Facepocker's children? Because I feel like that's kind of the scariest thing here. The birds is a cool idea, but does it distract from having the wormlings that are crawling around here be the real threat? But I mean, but the storks could have like their nests that have random treasures. We could always do harpies. Harpies are a fun one. And they could lure, like if we go up to our map, does it make sense for there to be harpies here? Maybe not really. I guess like if you were to be sailing a boat, would the city be on here, this side, or would it be over here? I mean, that could be kind of interesting if the Violet Port is over on the eastern side of this area, then yeah, as you come sailing down through here, there's these harpies that dwell in the wretched quagmire who kind of prey on them. But like we're I gotta remember, we're not talking just coastal. We're like in the quagmire. We're in this wretched bog. So I don't know if harpies is what I want to do. Ooh, Infinite says some sort of mosquito blood-sucking bird. Yeah, did we do Sturgy? I feel like we shared that idea on a previous stream, but I don't know if we implemented them anywhere. This feels like the place to do it. Oh, I think we talked about them maybe being in Hex. Oh, hold on. I think it was in the... Where are you? Oh my god, where the Scalding Spire. I feel like we might have had an idea for Sturgy. Yeah, okay. Swarms of Sturgy breed here in excess numbers due to the high moisture. I feel like I want to take the idea of a crazy amount of Sturgy. I'm going to take it from the boiling volcano, because does that really make sense that there would be a lot of Sturgy there? Probably not. The wretched quagmire feels like a perfect spot to put. Oh my god, scrolling through all of this is a nightmare right now. Here we go. I'm going to get rid of the stork idea, the bird idea. I think it just sort of competes too much with the apex predator vibe of the wormlings and alligators and stuff. But we'll say Sturgy breed here in terrifying numbers amidst the stagnant sulfur pools. Cool. I think that's a fun one to have. Good thought on that, Infinite. Noble Knight said we could also add mosquitoes because they incubate their eggs in water. Yep, exactly. That's what I was thinking of, the sulfur pools. And they could be... Maybe they could become invisible, and since their bites are undetectable. Oh, Or, I don't know about invisible, but like their bites transmit poisonous diseases. Does poisonous disease, does that even make sense? I don't think so. But this area, it's called the Retched Quagmire. It is such a disgusting, rancid area that just, it's not just the fact that the Sturgy take your blood, but that they give you like, not rabies, but like some sort of horrible infection. Maybe infectious diseases. It's a fun one. I'm seeing Infinite agrees with Noble, like the... Oh, wait. And the wormlings work like leeches. Oh, I see what you're saying. The spawn of Facepocker are like big giant leech things. Yeah, I mean, I imagine the spawn of Facepocker can be whatever weird draconic monster you want it to be. Wait, okay, hold on. What did he... Now I'm getting confused. You're agreeing that the wormlings are like leeches? But he deleted the message? Oh. Noble, if you had a specific idea about cool giant leech monsters, then maybe put it back in there, because I'm all for it. Okay. I'm not too concerned with this area having ruins. I think this is like a truly wild section of the peninsula. But... So it's more of just an area that if the players need to move through it, it's a big hazard for them. But are there treasures to be found here? What do we reward players with as they trek through this area? Because it's not like there's a lot to like Facepocker spawn, these wormlings or whatever. It's not like they have gold and things to hoard here. And if there's not a ruins of a lost kingdom, there's not a bunch of weapons and things to be found. So I don't know if there's even really a great way to do like a true dungeon here. But that's okay. Not every single area has to have a dungeon. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Noble Knight and Infinite. Gotcha. Treasures. We have the sulfuric lava rock that can be explosive. I mean, if you could come here to hunt Facepocker's spawn and other big reptiles. Maybe something about the specific gases here. The mists here are so rancid they carry well, I'm trying to think of something cool that we need something that really leans into the name Retched Quagmire. Like you are constantly, wretches to like almost throw up. Ooh, ghouls could be, or I think of ghouls and ghasts more so because they have the stench. Is that something here? I don't really know why they would be here though. Unless there's like an old, so maybe the dungeon here is some sort of ancient crypt or a catacomb of some kind. We already have so many bone things going on between the Alabaster Knights and the elves who are necromancers with dinosaur fossils and bones. I think I want to not do another bone thing here. The mists are so rancid they... Maybe they can rot bone off the flesh. But that's something that we've already done in all areas. Like the sulfur water melts flesh off the bone. So gotta be something cooler. Infinite says snake, some sort of snake or draconic leech. One becomes so big it's like a giant anaconda. Yeah, I think that's sick. Noble Knight says maybe all of the filth actually works as a potent fertilizer that makes the plants magical, or maybe they can just take the fertilizer itself and sell it for a lot. Yeah. Oh, some sort of hallucinate. It has a hallucinate to it. I like that. The mists here are so rancid they can induce hallucinations of rot, decay, and death. That's cool. That's cool. So you're like you have this fear that your arm is like rotting off of your body. But is it actually happening, or is it just a vision? Or maybe visions are real? Question mark. Like maybe that's how it starts. The early symptoms of this. There could be even a name to it. Like that was a cool thing they did in Tomb of Annihilation. there were a couple different types of diseases you could get out in the jungle, and they talked about like the symptoms of it. So that's the maybe the early symptom to actual flesh rotting infections from the mist. That's freaking cool. You start to become paranoid that you're rotting from the inside out, but that's because you actually are. Cool. Okay. Oh, I just had another idea. Oh, shoot. Oh, crap. We were talking about you imagining things rotting off your body, having hallucinations. Oh, fuck. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, I do remember. I had a thought that maybe the waters are flammable here. The sulfuric bog and all of the rotten flesh and just nastiness that kind of floats across the top of the water can combust. Not the most original idea, but like, oh, well, you're in a cave and there's gases and it can explode. But a wildfire kind of racing across the top of this water, like an oil spill almost sort of vibe, I think could be cool. From all the decay sitting atop the water. Okay, feel like we could do a couple cooler ideas too. Hidden says maybe insect eggs breed here can either feed or threaten the flying beetles from the other settlement. Yeah, that's an idea I mentioned in the description for Hex 3, the Ruptured Hive, that the beetles there get fed on and are hunted by the monsters that kind of dwell down in this hex. Okay. Now I'm just going to refamiliarize myself real quick. We've got moving through the area without a canoe is very dangerous. The canoes need to be lacquered in black dragon's blood or they'll dissolve. The area is crawling with elemental alligators, boas, piranhas, sulfur slimes, and Facepocker's children. They come here to avoid the elves and dinosaurs to the south. The elemental lavas mix with the sulfur from Facepocker's mountain to create an explosive type of porous stone. There are tons of sturgy here that breed in terrifying numbers. The mists are so rancid they induce hallucinations of rot and decay. The waters are actually flammable from all the decay. What's missing here? I guess we don't have much of a description about the plant life. And a few of you have been tossing ideas out of like that we should do something with that. And I agree. Hidden says maybe the waters actually purify decayed precious metals, jewels, or loot, and groups organize whole caravans, paying adventurers to smuggle things in and out. Oh, and then he continued the idea. The swamps can then be home to plenty of destroyed black market caravans filled with valuable loot the party can scavenge for. That's interesting. That is interesting. There's like a rumor. You're giving me an idea for a rumor of some sort of like a holy grail quest. Like this area has so much rot and decay, but people, they believe like there's like some sort of sunken temple here that if you bathe in it, it can restore you back to life, maybe? Because I do feel like the area needs some sort of dungeon, right? Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it truly is just untamed jungle. I also think that's fine. Maybe that, or there could be. Is there some sort of demonic presence here? No, because the wretchedness is explained by the Facepocker's drool coming down from his mountain and the lavas from the elemental volcano. So I don't think we need to introduce another explanation. We've got our explanation. Could there be... Maybe... What about the bark here is like resistant to acid? We'd said that the canoes need to be lacquered in dragon's blood. Or no, that was up here. They need to be lacquered in dragon's blood to be able to sail through here easier. But we could kind of get rid of that idea. Or it could be, that could still exist, but we could say like the trees here have bark or possess a rare bark that is resistant to acid. So there's a reason why your characters would want to go out and harvest some of this wood to make new shields or armor or something to, you know, in their fight against Facepocker and his children. But then this could also be like, maybe this is where Facepocker's wormlings nest in many of these trees. We can say the oldest trees here possess a rare bark. So not all the trees, but the oldest ones have like acid-proof bark. And they're the ones that grow up out of the water. That's cool. I like that. Hidden had another message, said maybe hidden at a certain... Or, wait. Oh, just kind of going back to that idea of rumors of some sort of temple or a thing here that can purify a soul. If we're going to do that, then I feel like it needs to be some sort of... Maybe this is even what you were saying, like you mentioned there's a certain mysticism to it. Like there's a mystic who lives here. Is it, you know, it could be the Medusa, but Medusas are hard. There's, for me at least, like when I think of Medusa, I'm just like, well, that's just like a Greek... It's, to me, like a Medusa doesn't feel like a common monster. The Medusa is the Medusa. There's like one of them from Greek mythology. It's hard for me to imagine there's a bunch of them running around. That's just me, though. Who could be our mystic who lives here amongst the rot? We could do a witch, but we already have the troll witch to the south. A demon could be cool, though. Like... How did they end up here? Were they trapped here? A demon of decay. Or they could just have, like, manifested here. They're willing to make deal. Yeah, I feel like this is a cool direction to go. Demon of rot dwells, and I might put, like, trapped, where they placed here by an ancient civilization with, like, an obelisk. And it's the only thing that's remained. Like, this is a civilization older than Facepocker. Like, there is nothing left of their civilization except this obelisk or this temple where this demon was trapped. Demon of rot dwells here and is sought after by desperate mortals needing to cleanse themselves of curses or things of that sort. That's very cool. All right. Hell yeah. What time is it? 11:48? Do we start another one? I don't know if I've got time. There's other things I need to do today. And we've made good progress. I mean, at this rate, we'll have... How many are left? We need to do... Seems like we're able to get through 2 a day. So we need to do... The Bombarded Garden, Heaven's Steps. I think those will be some of the last ones we do. The Mangrove, the Pocked Mountain, also one of the last ones I want to do. The Tangled Ivory, and Mystery Hex 6. Dang, my order is... Or no, Mystery Hex 11. So how many was that? I didn't even count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we only have 6 left, so we'll basically have all of these brainstormed by... Probably not this week, but... Definitely by the end of next week, if we just keep doing this each stream. Which, again, I want to introduce some other types into the schedule. Gotta kind of figure that out, which maybe is part of... That will also be part of what I do today. But, yeah, I think we'll probably call it for the brainstorming today. I'll give you guys a couple minutes here at the end, though, for a kind of a general open Q&A sort of deal. Has anybody got, like, questions about what's going on in your campaign? Questions about getting into D&D? being a player, being a dungeon master? Are there things going on in the hobby that you're curious about? Like other videos maybe you've watched that I should go check out, or articles? If you've got questions, just drop them in the chat. We'll just hang for a minute and then I'll bounce. Give you all a second to type that up. Oh, cool, Kenneth. I also just saw your message on Start Playing. So when I'm done on here, I'll shoot you over some links to some adventures you can maybe sign up for. Favorite class? Noble Knight asks. Ooh. Paladin is what I play the most. I think they are super fun. Arthur Proudsword is a Paladin name. I've never actually gotten to play Arthur Proudsword yet, but to me he's like just the most classic chivalrous knight in shining armor you can imagine, and I've always felt like he would be fun. Just the name Arthur Proudsword just has always been something I wanted to do at some point. But I like that paladins they can put out so much damage, they have access to cool spells, and they also can do the healing. With Lay on Hands especially, it's just like 20 uses of 1 hit point, get somebody back up off the ground, right? Like, great ability to have. Clerics are also really fun and cool, and can have, I think, I mean, you get, I'm the Church of Doom, right? Like, I think religions and priests and things of that sort in my D&D worlds are really fun, so you can do a cool character with a cleric. But I would say that's what I play the most, though. Paladin or a cleric. Maybe, like, if I try to think of my least favorite class, probably Bard, actually. Not that I don't think they're fun, but they very often, when I try and think of a cool Bard, it's like they feel very similar to rogues with their backstory of like, I'm always in trouble. I'm a mischievous kind of person, and I don't know. I just have a hard time always coming up with a bard who's like as heroic as a paladin or a cleric or a fighter or a wizard can be. So yeah, I'd say that's at my bottom. Kenneth said, definitely for the... Wait, so maybe you got a question here. For the player and the DM, just general ones like, how do you do DM stuff? And do I just... Wait, what? Did he just tell you or what? Oh, I'm not quite sure what the question is, Kenneth. Apologies. Hidden said, just want to say I'm really excited for the session 0 this week and to have you as the DM for next Wednesday actual session. Haven't been a player in forever. Can't think of a better way to go back. Yeah, Hidden's going to be awesome, Hidden. Make sure, sign up for that Wednesday adventure so you can snag that seat. And that's going to send, once you sign up, you'll get a message sent to you in your inbox that has all of the information. It has like links to our Discord and our D&D Beyond account, our campaign page and things like that. So, I think we've been messaging, because Hidden, I think you're Hugo, right? That's who I was messaging before. So I'll drop you a link as well once we're done here so that you can sign up and snag that. Noble Knight asks, what's your favorite war game? Warhammer 40k, but probably only because it's the one I've played the most. I'll be honest, I haven't really branched out very much in terms of war games. I never really played like Warhammer, like the old world. I played Age of Sigmar once, but I think it was a combination of two things. One, I was shocked at how lethal it was. Like, units just got wiped off the table so quick. And for me, that wasn't super fun. I was like, man, like they didn't even get to do cool things. But then I also was playing with someone who didn't do a great job of, I think, making the learning experience very fun. They kind of like wiped the floor with me, which is fine. Like, if I get absolutely brutalized in my learn to play game, but the other person made it fun and kind of was laughing with me and like, I don't know, there's a way to still make that feel like like, hey, I'm still on your side. Like, I'm gonna teach you why you lost. Like, that's fine, but it wasn't really like that. So I haven't played much in the terms of Age of Sigmar or Fantasy: The Old World. I did try play more of a skirmish style war game, Forbidden Psalms. But that had the issue with that one me and my dad found is like your characters are so bad, like the stats are intentionally low in almost everything, that it's hard to do anything. And that's sort of part of the whole theme of the game, of like, it's based off of the Morkborg universe, and you're just meant to be these like desperate, like ruin looter type characters. But it just wasn't very fun to be like, well, I can't do anything. But Warhammer 40k, the setting is awesome. I love Space Marines. I have a lot of Black Templars that are built that just need to be primed. I probably will not really get around to that for the foreseeable future, but that's okay. It's just fun to kind of be... I check the Warhammer website every day, just for fun, just to be like, what's going on in the hobby? What's new on their blog? So even though I don't play that often, it's still something I really enjoy. Oh no, Kenneth. So no, I just have a different player who was asking about the Wednesday campaign. Cool. All right, well, I'm not seeing any other questions, but I appreciate the ones that did get asked. Kenneth and Hidden, I'm excited to play D&D with y'all and have you in some sessions of mine. I'll message you guys right now as soon as I hop off so I don't forget. To everybody else, thank you for tuning in and brainstorming with the Church of Doom again. The Retched Tropics are as wretched as I'd hoped. So I'm going to keep releasing every Sunday on the Sunday Homebrew. I'm going to just release the pages that I've kind of finalized and gotten artwork and stuff done for so far. But then at the end of the month, we'll get that zine up, and I'll send it out to some of my upper tier patrons, like a physical copy, but everybody else will get the PDF. And that's that. So thank you all. We say these things in your unholy names.